Yo, share the link. Share the link. I think we're gonna hop right into this.
And now, it's time for that moment you've been waiting for. 1, 2, 3. Ready? Miku Miku Keep going. On my own, without anyone to know how many troubles, not those rainbows. But then I think about your smile. I'm out magically like the dancing photo. If you need me to get call on the call out my name. When you find me still is going down the stairs. I won't go away, won't put you down, I think I'm not right here. I close the light, the time like the way. All alone, it's so hard for me to dismiss the rain. Your name is enough to make me wait. All night and all on break. 'Cause I'm not afraid, anything that you rush away. Chin up, listen up, we fight until the end. Appearances of danger try to be brave. As long as you can stay happy, I'm okay. I'm not gonna bend that. I can be a cure for peace in your heart. And maybe it's on us killing you every day. Your name is enough to kill all my days. So I'm not cute Band-Aid. If you're fearing pain, call my name. I'll be by your side till I see your smile be bright again.
Michael fell off. Not true, not true. This is a weird. I don't think I've streamed at this time in like 2 years. So I don't know what the view count looks like. I don't think I want to know. But SHiFT just announced that he's coming on stream to his Discord server. So I'm assuming we'll see some people in a little bit. What's up, chat? I'm gonna call him right now, actually. So normally I wouldn't go live at this time or stream like. Normally I would do the stream like a day after the video, but like SHiFT was kind of like, I don't know if like I'm gonna be able to do this with you, but like my sleep, like I've been up for like 24 hours. Is all I've been doing is trying to finish the video because I want to move on to the next one. And I'm like, you know what? I'm up. If when I fall asleep, my sleep cycle is gonna probably be fucked for like a week, and he streams for like 12 hours, like every single day. So I'm like, all right, if we don't do this right now, it's probably never gonna happen. So just cut the hair off. Trust me, I like the long hair. I'm thinking of getting like a wolf cut. But all right, let me call SHiFT. Give him a ring.
Yo,
There. What's up, SHiFT? How you doing?
great. I know you're tired, so I don't want to like.
Oh no, I can. We'll be up for like about an hour.
I want to like make you.
For an hour, hour and a half. Just hang out.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe. I got. Okay, so I do have the original Battle Bikini Bottom, but like it's on my Wii, and I don't know what it is with my Elgato, but for whatever reason, there's like a 5-second delay, and I've tried fixing it. I've kind of did some editing in the settings to kind of make the audio match up, but we're just gonna play the rehydrated version because it's on my PC. Are you? I don't think you're the biggest fan of Rehydrated, are you?
I'm gonna strongly suggest like still playing the original, like even if the audio is messed up, because like I could probably like teach you like little shit like that could be fun to just like mess around with. The game's really fun to just like try tricks in, so I think it's worth it.
Well, I can't get it set up right now. So let's
I think it straight up just won't work at all.
It would take me a few minutes, and I just want to hang out. That's not too serious. I
guess
have.
that's cool. I just think you'd have fun like trying like little things. Like speedrunning is fun, dude. Like I think you'd really enjoy it if you take like 5 minutes to just like. It's worth it, I promise.
No, it is. It's I think it's cool. And by the way, chat, if you send me a donation through Streamlabs or Coffee, let me know in the regular chat, because the way my desktop's set up, I can only see YouTube chat and Rumble chat. Do not tell this guy about Evangelion. Yo, Soaring Eagle with $100 on Rumble. Let's fucking go. I appreciate it, man, bro. I have been working on this video for 3 months, so I greatly appreciate it. Alberto rocks. Thank you so much. And thank you, Shipper.
Nice community.
Yeah, we
It's
got
awesome.
Soaring Eagles. He's always been sending me super chats over the years, big ones too. So I always appreciate it. But yeah, so we're here. Did you get to watch the documentary? Because it's been out for about like an hour, 2 hours now. Did you get to watch it by any chance, or?
No, I haven't. I'll probably do it
bit.
at some point soon.
Gonna
I'm
do,
curious. I know, like, you told me a lot about like what you were thinking about doing with it, and
Yeah,
I'm
so
excited
I
to
wanted
watch it at some
to.
point.
I want to do some of the drama stuff, but the more I kind of researched it, it was. I mean, it was worth mentioning to some degree, but like at the same time, it's just kind of like.
No, I feel you on that. I mean, my entire time streaming, like ever since I had like literally 2 viewers when I first started, like I always say like half my viewers when I first started, like the one guy, there was always somebody who was in the chat just like, "Oh, you playing SpongeBob, bro? Like this game's for babies," you know. It's always there's always been like a dialogue or like a back and forth with like haters and like shitters. Like it's kind of just like part of the streams culture. So there's always gonna be people who are like doing
Is it
stuff like
like that
that.
on
But
Twitch? Because like you're from like a totally different world from me. I come from like edgy drama, like YouTube.
it's really not like that, honestly.
Like I'm
Like,
restreaming this to Rumble, right? I feel like that's a website you would never touch with like a
no,
10-inch pole.
no, like I mean, Twitch is like the speedrunning community, especially, is like generally pretty sensitive, and it's mostly just like a lot of like Nintendo fans, kind of in like a corner where they kind of just like, play a lot of the same games, and I think that like the whole SpongeBob thing, which is like why I think initially like in 2016 when I started this, it got a lot of like mixed attention, like controversy over like, oh, he speedrun SpongeBob, bro. Like I think that a big reason why that happened was because like I'm not really like what's the word, like I wouldn't consider myself like edgy, but I'm also just like not.
You're
I
not.
don't really
You're
let people
not
walk
like.
on me. I just kind of like keep it
Yeah.
real, and
You're
I think
not
that a
like
lot of people just kind of
PC.
like the smoothed over like eggshells type content on like Twitch and the speedrunning community. Like I'm really just not like that as a person, and I think that that mixed with like the whole like SpongeBob thing where it's like, oh, what's this guy doing? He's playing SpongeBob. Like it seems like an easy target for trolling, and I think this just like feeds into itself. It's the kind of thing where like there's always gonna be more people who are gonna be like saying things about whatever I'm doing, but they never stick around. They usually just like they leave after a certain point and new people take their place, and I've been dealing with it forever. It is what it
It's
is. Like
just
a lot of
weird.
it is part of the streams culture anyway,
Mhm.
like the jokes about like people like saying dumb shit in the chat.
It's just weird to think of like Twitch as kind of like a place where you get trolled. 'Cause I feel like Twitch is like very PC friendly. And you were kind of getting to that. Like you're not like a super PC guy. You're not the guy who like virtue signals about whatever the big thing is at the moment. You kind of just you play SpongeBob and that's it. You play the game, you do it well, and that's it. And sometimes you beef
Yeah.
with some trolls, and that's about
There
it.
there have been some times when I've definitely like gone down the path of like like signaling virtue and shit when I thought I was doing the right thing, but I've kind of learned over the years, especially since my audience is getting older, like I don't like aim down. Like I don't do the thing where I know it's like profitable to like make your content more geared to children, especially with the whole SpongeBob thing. Like that would if I just
Yeah, I
stopped
feel
swearing,
like
just,
you
like,
would
it would be
be.
like it'd definitely be like a good like a lucrative venture, but at the same time, like it's kind of hard to not be yourself when you're streaming 300 hours a month trying to beat the game as fast as possible. Like you're just gonna mentally burn yourself out doing that.
Yeah, it's like when I first discovered you, one of my IRL friends told me about you, and then I got a YouTube comment about you. It's like, all right, let me look into this guy, and I kind of discovered those like A-log channels that were just like kind of clipping your funny moments, and I'm like, why is he so freaking mad about this game? And like, it still is funny because you get like really heated, and it is pretty funny, and I'm sure even you admit that's pretty funny.
There are some good funny rages. It's kind of a thing where
I've
like
noticed.
some of them are like funny, but some of them are just like hard to watch because I'm just like really frustrated and like like a lot of the guys who do the uploads like that are doing it in bad faith where they like wanna like make me look bad. Like, they're not doing it because it's funny. I've had people in the past who like made the rage comps who actually were funny, and they weren't like in that zone where they were trying to like spin a
Virtual
narrative and like
signaling.
make things up. But
Yeah.
like there were some guys who uploaded rage comps back in the day that were actually like hilarious because I would actually like they'd be like funny rages, you know, like because you got to understand like sometimes I'm genuinely pissed, but at other times it's like I'm pissed, but I'm also trying to like make myself laugh a little bit. Like it's like definitely tongue in cheek, like played up,
Yeah.
and like it's not all black and white. But yeah, I just think that like it all depends on like who the person is, like if they have good faith or bad faith. Some of these guys though, like they're just people who got banned from the community and they're salty and they got to just get their final word in. Basically, those are the ones you just gotta like avoid. They're crazy, bro.
You just gotta ignore trolls. Like I got like big YouTubers talking about me on streams, like 2,000 people, and I just ignore them. It's like I don't care.
Yeah, it all blows over.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you mentioned me on like a sub tweet, and then you said my name on a stream, and it's like, okay, whatever. I'm making my SpongeBob documentary, bro. Somebody said, bro's playing SpongeBob. You got a SpongeBob profile picture, so I'm assuming that's one of your guys.
Yeah, he's actually a runner of the game. He was
I can't believe
he was actually
Gabe
one of the
Hoffman.
guys who got sorry.
Somebody said I can't believe Gabe Hoffman is funding these streams. Yeah, no, Gabe Hoffman, he gave me $5,000 to make the SHiFT documentary. Totally, 100%. Gabe Hoffman's like this, kind of like this. What's the term you guys use to describe like mega donors in the Twitch world? Like, is it whales? What's the word you guys use? Because I know you guys have like a lingo for that. Or
Well,
it's
whatever,
Oilers. Oilers.
That's funny.
He's like an Oiler, but for like this kind of like right-wing internet drama universe.
Hold up. Has Oiler really become like a ubiquitous term on Twitch? Like, is that like popular now?
I've only ever seen it used by Twitch streamers. I've never seen it used around here. When I see people around here,
That's fucking crazy. That literally started from my chat. Like,
Really?
That was during the first subathon. Yeah, I literally have an emote on my channel. I think I still have it. Let me check.
Why are you telling about Gabe Hoffman? We gotta explain the joke. I mean, I read it out loud.
I think it might be all caps. Shift oil. Oh, I guess we deleted it.
That's
I'll
so
add it back
funny.
just because like that's kind of crazy that people say that now. But that literally started because like during my subathon a couple of years ago, people were calling the big donors oil princes. Like, what are you from Saudi Arabia? Like that was like the big thing that people were saying. And I guess like people just say it now. That's crazy because I'm literally not involved in like any Twitch aspects outside of like very niche communities.
Yeah,
That's actually really
you're very
crazy.
interesting to me on Twitch because for the most part, I mean, like when you do your subathons, it seems to spread to like more mainstream people, like Ludwig, right? But normally
no,
it's like you just
community
stream
too.
to like your Discord server. Like you have your Discord server, you have your people, and like that's all who watches it. And I mean, you're not like edgy or anything, so like you're not like causing any issues for Twitch, so they just kind of leave you alone. But
Yeah, I get you. But like it's kind of interesting. Like I was gonna mention with the subathon, like yeah, like it had a lot of influence, especially at the time when like most of the speedrunning community was trying to like emulate the subathon and like do their own. And like during the time that like mine lasted for the 80 days, like so many of them popped up and just came and went. So that's interesting that you say that like the oil thing was like
yeah, I've heard that around like Twitch, not around like these communities. Like we would just say like pay pig or something.
that's wild though that spread as far as it did because I literally like I'm trying to find the file like where it all started. Like I literally have like when I was doing the subathon, we had like these like oil rigs that were like in the background, and like we had like the BP logo on the screen.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
Bro, I was like shocked by when you told me how much you made off that one subathon. How did you even stream for 80 days, bro? I cannot stream for more than 2 hours, and every day you're streaming for 12 hours, and then like once a year you decide, yeah, I'm just gonna stream 24 hours for 2 months.
That's part of the angle is like, how do I explain this? Like speedrunning is like so draining, especially the game that I play is like crazy.
Yeah,
like you're
finicky.
basically playing like the same 3 to 5 minutes for like 10 plus hours to try and get anything. So I'm already doing this on a daily basis, like every day of the month. So when the subathon comes around, it's like a break, you know. Like I'm still streaming every day, like probably more than 12 hours a day, because like I mean.
But
You
you're
gotta
not.
put more effort into that because you're getting paid so much, you know, like you gotta make it worth it for people. But it's like I'm just like chilled out, you know, like we're just like playing games and like cracking jokes and stuff. Like it's very relaxed content compared to the usual. Like I'm just like so stressed doing the normal streams with the speed runs. It's like
I think
then
you
we
should
just
do
fuck around for a
more.
month.
I think you should do more of the not like subathons, but just more like casual stuff. Just like play.
Yeah, I did one of those last month. I actually want to do a couple of them this month just to kind of break things up, but it's we're working on like new features like on-screen alerts and stuff like
Nice.
memes. I'm trying to like you know about the trading card series that I'm working on.
Yeah.
I mentioned it a little bit.
I
I've
don't
been
think
going
it's in the
back and like
documentary, but if you want to explain that real quick.
oh, that's cool. Yeah. So I've been going back and like revisiting a lot of my old stuff to try and like find like the best moments to kind of engage all the old fans and like get people interested in the series because we're doing for those of you guys who don't know like these are like physical real trading cards like they're manufactured by the same company that does the Pokemon trading cards. The guy who runs the company that's designing the cards, he's one of my fans who ended up starting the company out of his passion for trading cards and like baseball cards. Like he's trying to like do like a Tops thing. If you guys know what Tops is, like baseball cards, like you can get like autographed images and stuff of like the your favorite players and shit. Well, he wants to do that with like influencers and streamers and speedrunners, and we're doing a solo series because I was part of a series that was kind of like baseball cards but for like speedrunners. But we sold so many packs in the community that we're doing our own series now as like a celebration for 10 years of streaming. So we have like all these different references from across the years and stuff, and I've been going back and trying to like rewatch old things for the references, and yeah, I've just kind of been like trying to like analyze like okay, which things that kind of like slipped in and slipped out over the years, like which things do I like, which things do I want to bring back and improve. And one of the things that we used to do a lot was like the joke runs where like we play a shit game that I've never practiced, never like labbed or done strats in. We just play it casually and like have like a timer on the screen, do like memes, media share, and text to speech, you know, shit like that.
Yeah.
They're fun. They kind of like break up the mood a little bit because if we were always doing the serious stuff all the time, like people would just get burned out. Like it's too much for even like the people who are very passionate about the runs. Kind of like, you know, it builds the culture. It's also like a good like side thing to do if you're always doing something like speed running where you want to like show more of your personality and interact with the chat more. And you know, I just think it's a good thing to have like a variety of stuff to do, even if it's like very rare, like not often. You know.
Yeah,
Gotta have,
well,
like,
the
something.
rarity makes it more, interesting. Like a MichaelAlberto stream.
Yeah.
Those are.
People gotta get
I used to
jokes
do
too. Like
those.
people run out of jokes if you do it too often.
Yeah, like I used to do these like daily, but now it's like a once a month thing, so it's kind of like a big deal. I want to start streaming more though. I don't know. I want to do a video about like Minecraft, so I might do a few Minecraft streams leading up to it.
Is it cool if I respond to your chat?
Yeah,
Is
go
that
right
like
ahead. Go right ahead.
all right, cool. Yeah, I always like to ask because like sometimes like I've been in situations where like never mind. Anyway, Ty says that the brighter colors in the remake are nice, but you prefer the original. No, I'm with you on that, man. Absolutely. The thing about like Miguel was going to play the GameCube version, but he wasn't able to get it working. The GameCube version is a little bit washed out because it was compressed due to the size of the GameCube disc, but the Xbox version is like a really like nice preservation of the game. Like the colors are much more vibrant, and the bloom is like a little bit more prominent, so you can kind of like see how the colors like kind of like radiate better, I guess. The remake is, you know, I got a lot of comments on the remake. I don't want to be too negative about it. I just think it's cool that it exists, that the game got so popular at a point in time that they decided to remake it and kind of like use it to like springboard off of the popularity of the original game.
Is there a
Yeah,
reason
I
why
think
they
it's
didn't
really
just?
cool.
Is there a reason they didn't just port it?
Yeah, there are a couple of reasons why that'd be the case. So first off, I don't know how familiar you are with like video game development politics, but Electronic Arts, everybody's favorite fucking company ever.
Bro,
They actually own the rights to the Renderware engine, so there'd probably be some issues with that. The source code for the game, a lot of games like we don't really know if it still exists. Like a lot of these older games, like
Yeah,
there's a
isn't
possibility that the studio that made the original game doesn't even have it anymore. And also just like design choices by the people who made the game. Again, like I'm not saying I agree, but they thought that there were some aspects of the game that were outdated, like the camera from the early 2000s and stuff like that. Like they
Yeah.
kind of felt that it'd be easier to redo the entire thing, especially which they didn't mention at the time, but we know now that they were using the community's fan-made level editor to make the game, which is kind of crazy. They were kind of just like very rooted into the community, like low key, and like taking all of our ideas and stuff and integrating them into the game. I mean, they literally had me go to the studio to work on it, so they weren't that subtle about it. But it is kind of interesting how like they found that this community's group of resources and like tools made it easier to remake the game in Unreal Engine than just to literally port it. But yeah, I think there are some politics involved in that as well.
Area 51, you gotta calm down in chat, man. Jeez. Calm down. But yeah, no, the history around this game and like how deeply you're kind of like involved in just like the making of like this game is like it's kind of crazy. It's like you're just a speedrunner. I don't think there's any other story like that, you know.
At the time, perhaps, yeah, but since these guys kind of like, because remember the CEO who started Purple Lamp Studios, or I guess like I think he co-founded it. He's got a cool story too. Like he actually moved to Vienna to start the studio. To like,
What was
I mean, he was
Australia like?
dating a girl, yeah, and in Austria, the woman that he married, he didn't want to like make her come to the U.S., so he moved there and he started an international studio with a bunch of guys who are just like really passionate about making games. Sorry, your question? I missed it.
What was it like in Australia? Because I'm assuming you said you went to the studio, so I'm assuming that meant
Yeah,
you went to the...
I didn't really get to spend too much time exploring stuff. Like when I was there, I was just like locked in on trying to like play as much of the game as they had finished as possible and giving as much feedback as possible. But they insisted that their PR person take me on like a tour around the city, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like I got to see the cathedral. I forget the name; it's slipping me. There were a bunch of other landmarks and stuff. I took some pictures because you know my parents like that stuff. I'm not really a big like picture person, but you know people just like to see like foreign stuff, like especially in the U.S. Like people are like very fascinated by things outside the U.S. So
Yeah.
I made sure to
Did you
take
see
some
any?
pictures.
Did you see any crazy ass spiders? Because like they have like crazy ass insects and stuff down there.
Oh no, Austria, not Australia. It's like Vienna in Austria. It's in Europe.
Oh, you went? I said Australia in the video.
Yeah.
Bruh.
That's all good.
Yeah, I could.
That's why I
I could.
wanted
I
to watch
could.
it first. That's all good.
I could put a little editors note. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just YouTube, man. It's like it's all good. People
Yeah.
know people make mistakes and shit.
Australia, not Australia. Well, it's cool. You got to go to Europe.
Yeah, that's the only time I've ever been out of the country, actually.
Michael doesn't know the difference. What is the difference? Let's be real. They both have A's and they're both in a different continent. It's like
They're both outside the U.S.
Yeah, it's like the same thing if you think about it.
Exactly. They both got to deal with our politics like 5 to 10 years after we fuck up. You know, it's
Yeah.
basically the same shit. Sorry, Saps.
No, exactly. Michael doesn't know Austria. I knew Austria exists, but I read it Australia when I was making the video. I was reading the Wikipedia article. I was like, okay, where's this place from? Oh, okay, looks like this is Australia.
But no, I still am in contact with the guys who, I mean, like the one guy, Martin, who's, everybody knows Martin in this community. He's like the link between worlds where THQ Nordic is the publisher and the development studio is Purple Lamp. He's kind of like involved in both. And he is more of like the community outreach person where he talks to the guys who are part of the communities that he's engaging. And no, he's like a really great guy. And I've had some, I can't really talk too much on this because like NDAs and stuff,
Yeah,
but
no,
he's been like a
say
very
more.
helpful guy and a person like me who's like I've been streaming my entire life, basically my entire adult life. I've never actually like signed employment papers or like worked in any of these spaces or anything like that. So he was like pretty like protective, I guess, you know. Like when I was like getting into like trying to work with him and stuff, he was giving me some like tips and like, you know, like I'm like what I'm worth to these like development studios and stuff. Like it's just like she seems like a very genuine guy. I like him a lot. These studios like Rehydrated had a lot of flaws, but their heart was in the right place, and
I think
now they
it's
kind of
a
just seem like
good
they're going to be
game.
making SpongeBob games and remakes of like old like licensed games.
Yeah, I
Like,
saw
it's kind of
they
a
did a
cool,
remake
unique
of like
niche, you know?
Epic Mickey, right? They did a
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that does. I think it's a good try, like if it works out for them. Just that I think they got to realize that like a big part of the market angle for Rehydrated was like they had a lot of support from the internet, dude. Like YouTube, Twitch, like everybody was talking about that game. I think they really dropped the ball on the follow-up Cosmic Shake last year. That SpongeBob the Cosmic Shake was like
It
supposed
looks
to be
good.
a follow-up to Rehydrated.
It
It
looks
was all right.
good.
I'll give it a
5 out of
solid
10.
5.5 out of 10.
Fi-
I like it
IGN.
though. Like, yeah, I'm not the kind of person who like IGN like a 7 out of 10 is like a 4 basically. Like they don't go below the 5 unless it's like they know that it's gonna be like they're not gonna get like pushback. I don't know if you saw the GameSpot review when you were researching all these topics, but the guy he was trying to do the rolling ballroom puzzle in
Yeah,
this game.
I saw that. He just
And
couldn't.
you gotta give the game like a 5 out of 10 or something, and like the whole comment section like raged him. It's so crazy to me that like when I first started streaming, like you'd see like dudes like the Game Grumps like making a video about like how bad the game is, and well, I guess like that's kind of like extreme to say. Like they're more just like goofing on it, like just kind of like dismissing it and glossing over it. And the comments would, they mostly like not really have any opinion, like strong opinion on the game, but when that game came out 4 years later, Rehydrated, like the whole comment section on like those kinds of dismissive videos shitting on the game, like people would just go off on them and say like how dare you make fun of this game? It's a classic. Like these critics were forced to kind of like redo their ratings because of how popular the game got. I kind of hate that, the basically internet game critics and journos just adjust their opinions based on what everybody else thinks, but yeah, just tie it back into like my discussion. Like I have played a lot of like licensed games on my stream. Like I really enjoy 3D platformers a lot, like the PS2 era, GameCube era stuff. But as it goes, like a lot of guys who like I may be in the whole speedrunning thing for like this game specifically, but a lot of my fans have also like coincidentally played other licensed games that their parents gave them when they grew up as well. So we've like gone back to them and like giving them like scores and stuff. It's like a fun thing to do.
I feel like most of them suck, but like Bikini Bottom, like I actually did grow up with this game. I was showing my mom the video this morning.
That's dope.
She was like, oh, she said she liked it. And she never like watches my videos for the most part, but she was like, oh, this is actually really interesting. I mean, she knew nothing about it, but she thought like the way I built the narrative and stuff was good. But she's like, yeah, I remember playing that with you back in the day.
Dude, I got so many
Okay.
stories of people in my chat who like they say, especially like if their parents had already passed on, they're like, and this game brings a lot of memories back to me, like playing video games with my parents. Like even if they're not here anymore, like it kind of reminds me of like the time that I spent with them. Like people have a lot of like sentimental stories like that with this game. It means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's
one of the reasons
it's
why I still
really
play it
it's
a lot.
really solid. I'd say it's really good.
Yeah, very nice.
I mean, I couldn't.
This
I
game-
mean,
Spider-Man 2
you're
is a
the
really good
speed
game.
runner. You're the one who could probably tell me every little minute difference between like this version and the original. But to me, it's like I don't know. It just feels kind of the same. I think it's a little slower, like a little floatier.
Yeah, there's actually
But
I
maybe
can go
that
into
was in-
detail on that.
Yeah, I think it's probably intentional to maybe make it more accessible or something.
So the way, because again, like I don't agree with all the ways that they develop this game, but let's say like when the first thing you do when you remake a game, I guess, is you want to make sure that everything is to scale, right? I mean, they had the privilege of having the fan tools to port the levels over like to exact scale, but the issue was that the way that I was at the studio, they mentioned this when I was there, is they said that the way that they made sure that the levels were to scale and that the movement was right was using a timer to tell how long it takes to run from one end of Jellyfish Fields to the other. Which you can probably imagine like the flaw in that, where like
Yes, I could see it
Yeah,
from a mile away.
if the character model is too big, you're gonna have to slow him down to make him run, like to make him reach the end of the level in the same amount of time, which is kind of rough. And
Yeah.
and the fact that like some levels weren't scaled the right way either, like the jump height is like different than the original. That's actually one of the things that I actually mentioned when I was there. Was we actually fixed that, like how high you jump in this game versus the original. But that was an update that didn't get pushed for some reason. I think they were just a little bit disorganized when they were working on this because, it was like, I think it was their first game.
Yeah.
There were going to be some issues with like pushing updates and stuff.
How did they get the
But-
license? Did they just approach Nickelodeon and ask for it? And they're like, all right.
Yeah, that's a whole history. So there are some like really shitty SpongeBob games that were made like between the time that the original game came out.
Yeah, some
And
really bad
Rehydrated.
ones. Some really freaking bad ones.
Yeah, they were published by Activision. They're like top down, like beat 'em ups and like licensed
Like shitty
or
shitty Skylanders clones.
stock music, just like trash basically. I think that like the one that was based on the second SpongeBob movie sold like something along the tune of like 15,000 copies, which is really really low, especially for SpongeBob.
Yeah, like
And
SpongeBob is
they
like
kind of just stopped making games. They just Activision didn't make games for a long enough time. I guess because those games were very unsuccessful, that they no longer had the license, like the privilege to make SpongeBob games. So THQ Nordic noticed that SpongeBob was becoming popular on the internet again. Like the games were becoming popular. Like the Battle for Bikini Bottom craze was up.
Mhm.
And like, all right, let's just buy the license and we are going to make a remake of the most popular SpongeBob game. See how it does.
I mean, it did really well, right? It sell like 2
Yeah,
million
2 million
copies.
copies in the first year. Very well, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like so Bikini Bottom obviously is like a cult classic game. Like a lot of people grew up with it. It was solid back then. I mean, you probably would say it's like a masterpiece. I'm just
Yes.
saying, as like vaguely remember playing it when I was like 7 years old or whatever. I mean, I don't think I ever got past like Jellyfish Field because I was like a child. But
A lot of people didn't,
but
but
where
you
was I
still
going
liked
with
it
this?
though. Like you still had
Yeah,
fun with
yeah,
it.
of
Even if
course
you
I
didn't.
did.
That's what I try explaining to these devs, man. Is like if you make a game like really, really easy, like way too easy, you're not really making it fun for the adults, and the kids don't care. Like they don't care how far they get. They just like to walk around as SpongeBob and like explore the parts of the game that they've unlocked. Like most kids don't care about beating games. I don't think it's changed that much.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've probably only beaten maybe like 5 games in my entire life. Like I just, I put them on, I play for a little bit, and that's it. I just fell all that way down. Damn. It's not
I know
that serious.
I want to read one of your chat messages second.
Yeah.
I know SHiFT has played Lights Camera Pants, but has he played other SpongeBob games? Yeah, so I was actually forced to play all of them last year. We did a subathon.
Did you play
That
the
was
Game
my
Boy
idea for
Advance
last year.
versions of the games?
Yeah, we played some of those too.
Damn.
They're mid, honestly, but they're not as bad as people say they are. The movie game gets gassed up like crazy. That game is pretty mid. There are definitely better games, but
The
as far as the
punk
SpongeBob
rock
platformers
Bikini
go, it's
Bottom.
alright.
The punk rock Bikini Bottom.
You want to know my top 3 SpongeBob games after being forced to play them all last year was
Hold on, let me guess. Hold on. So obviously Bikini Bottom's number 1.
yeah, easy number
Are
1.
you including the like Cosmic Shake and like
Everything,
Rehydrated?
like all the Game Boy, PC stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's the original game, Bikini Bottom, Lights, Cameras, Pants, and then Rehydrated. That's my guess.
I actually wouldn't rank Rehydrated because it's a remake.
Okay, then I'll
Like,
say
it's
Cosmic Shake. I'll say Cosmic Shake then.
Yeah, Cosmic Shake. I don't even know if like maybe that's like barely top 10 out of those that we played.
Really?
Number 3, I would give to. It's actually a point-and-click adventure. It's called SpongeBob Employee of the Month. I'll bet people had this repressed in their memory somewhere. They got it at like the Scholastic Book Fair when they were like 5 years old. But it's actually good.
Oh
like,
yeah, I
the
wanna
game's
know.
actually fun.
Wanna know how I know
probably
about that? Do you know who Scott the Woz is?
Yeah, I know him. I have a friend. She's like knows him personally. Know a little bit.
That's cool. Well, so with Scott, he did a big video. It has a few million views about like his childhood game collection, and like he had a lot of SpongeBob games. So he just like talked about like all of them. I think he talked about that one specifically. Same with like Lights.
It's
Cameras,
actually
Pants.
surprisingly good. Like it's funny. It's a funny and like well-written game for like something that was obviously not written by the writers of the show directly. I like obviously the writers of the show were involved with Battle for Bikini Bottom and Lights Camera Pants, but like that one feels like there's like a lot of like there are some unique jokes and story like plot lines that are like you could tell that they weren't written by the people who made the show, but
They're
it's still
funny.
good. Yeah. It's a good point and click game.
Yeah. Somebody
You're probably not gonna get the rest of them. So I'll just say like I kind of forget. I made a tier list, but I don't know where it is. But from my memory, I think I gave the number 4 spot to. I think it was the WarioWare clone. There's like a WarioWare clone. I don't know if you know that. I think that we may have talked about this in DMs. The U Draw from
Oh yeah,
THQ.
yeah. I know about.
Yeah, there was
that.
like a U Draw game from THQ where you like draw on the pad with like the pen. It was called SpongeBob Squiggle Pants. It's actually kind of a fun game. It's very short. There's a Tom Kenny cameo. Like he live actions the whole thing. Like he's like They have like him like doing all these skits with like the Potty the Parrot, I think it's called, right? I haven't seen SpongeBob in so long, but like the puppet, the bird
Yeah, I know what you're
puppet,
talking
the
about.
sidekick, yeah. Like they do like this like live action stuff through the whole thing for the cutscenes, and like there's like a lot of different like art styles, and you like play through the art styles with like it's like WarioWare, but it's like SpongeBob with like art and shit. It's actually a really cool game. Short, but it's actually very fun. And then number 5, I probably have to give it to Super Sponge for how early in development. Like it was like a 2001 game on the PlayStation 1. And as far as like 2D platformers go, it's actually like pretty decent quality. It's got voice acting. The music is pretty okay, you know.
One thing
Like a
I
whole like
liked about
diverse range of good
Flying
games.
Dutchman was the soundtrack. I used it like multiple times in the video. I really like the soundtrack to that game.
Oh, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. People overhate that game. It's bad, but it's not like the worst game ever. Like I think that people who say that games like that are just like the scum of the earth, complete garbage, haven't like truly played like really bad games. Like if you really want to
The
torture yourself,
guy
you gotta
who
play, like,
the guy who played every
Shrek
single
games are just
SpongeBob
terrible.
game ever, so along with like Shrek and didn't you play like a Barnyard game at some point?
Yeah, Barnyard was pretty mid. I mean, it's just like a run-of-the-mill GTA clone, just like padding and shit. I feel like games
GTA
like that were fun when you were a
Barnyard.
kid and you had nothing better to do.
Okay, wait, I got a question. It's kind of a little off topic, but I have to know. All right, when you speedrun, do you play with the game audio off?
Everybody asks that. That's crazy.
Do
So
you?
that actually, it's on. It's on, but like I don't have headphones,
So
and
you
my
can't
audio
hear
is
it.
like perfectly synced up. So you like there are no headphones, and you can't hear it. But it actually is on. People just like
Do you? So you
my
do?
microphone doesn't pick up audio from the back, and it's synced up perfectly. My capture card setup is like
That's
crazy.
crazy. How do you listen to that? Because like even when I'm watching all your streams, like even I'm getting like annoyed with the fucking
Oh, yeah. Some
intro
people say that.
song.
I mean, it's information to me. Like, think of it this way, man. Like, what's more annoying, like losing your run of the same mistake for like 10 hours in a row, or just like the Jellyfish Fields soundtrack? You know, like you build up a tolerance for
I've
like
been playing the
dealing with
game
stuff.
muted this whole time. I don't think I can listen to Jellyfish Fields for as long as you do.
That's funny. Like,
That's
it's
impressive.
the music is actually information for me. Like for the speed running thing, like even if I didn't enjoy it, when you finish a level, the soundtrack's gonna be in a certain place. So your brain gets used to like, oh, okay, like this portion of the soundtrack played, like it ended on like this note of the song, so I know that like I'm on the right pace. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the amount of time that the soundtrack plays like helps you understand how fast you're
No,
going.
when you say it from that perspective, I guess it makes sense. It's just kind of weird to to just like I don't know. I mean, I like to play video games like muted. Like I'll have like a podcast.
That's
or
interesting.
Music.
Yeah,
But
I just like
It's just
I
it's
just
just
like to get as
interesting.
much
Like I mean, it
information as
makes
possible.
sense that like from the information angle, but it's also just like I feel like I'd get so annoyed having to hear Jellyfish Fields for 8 hours every single day.
Trust me though, like if you tried speedrunning and like you just feel the experience of like losing runs and like getting walled off and shit, like it just expands your perspective on like how annoying games can actually be.
Yeah.
To
Oh,
the
by
point
the
where that
way,
stuff doesn't even matter.
Chad, if you send me a donation or super chat through, I said this earlier, but since we kind of got more people here, if you send one through Streamlabs or Coffee, it's greatly appreciated. But you gotta let me know in the chat because like I can see if you guys send in like a Rumble, it's called the Rumble rant, I believe, or a super chat on YouTube. I can see those, but I gotta go to different tabs. You just gotta let me know. But so I wanted to also say thank you to Plumpy who complimented the video, said it was good. But also Toasty, he asked a question. SHiFT, are you a dreamer? If so, how many of your dreams are now SpongeBob related?
Yeah, I mean it's a valid question. I mean we usually like in my chat it's kind of a joke, like we kind of like make fun of like generic questions like that, but I'll bite. I mean
What's your
I do have some dreams that I remember, specific dreams of the game, but generally speaking, like it's not very often that I remember dreams in general or specifically ones for that game at all. I feel like it's also kind of like a work thing where like you do it so much that it just becomes normal, and it's not like I feel like people typically dream about things that are more like exceptional, like new things that are just like not like common, if that makes sense. Like if you're doing the same thing every day, it just becomes normal, and you're probably not like your brain's probably not going to be like dedicating too much time to thinking about it. That makes sense. But I do
Yeah.
have some dreams that I remember over the years that are like they stick out. There was a trick back in the day, like 6 years ago, where you had to do a frame perfect input with like a pretty precise projectile throw to like clip is literally like right at the end. Like you have like a minute and a half to play after that trick's over. And I missed the trick like 8 times in a row and lost the run. And I had a nightmare that night where I was just literally missing it over and over again. That's like one example. I had another example of a run like maybe like 3 or 4 years ago where it was like a 100% speed run. So any percent, for those of you guys who aren't like too aware of speed running, any percent just means that you beat the game with any percent. So you, like regardless of what percentage completed, like if you beat the game, that's all you have to do. So I'm traditionally an any percent speed runner, but when I do 100% runs, I had a run of trying to get every spatula where I lost it right at the end as well. Like over an hour into the run, I lost it. And that night when
Yeah.
I went to sleep, like I had like a very photo perfect like replay of the whole run in my head, just like play for play and then fucking it up again. So I had to like relive the same run dying twice, like in my dream. That was kind of whack. But
That's so funny.
yes, I mean, there are a couple of dreams that stand out like that. I had a dream, like a casual dream about the game where like all the levels were reimagined. Like they had the same themes and stuff, but like the tikis were in different spots and the slides were different. Yeah, stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
like almost like a ROM hack, basically. Those are the few that stand out to me. But a lot of my dreams are more about just like IRL stuff, because I do exist outside of my stream. People don't usually
It's
think
hard to
that, but
believe,
I
but
do.
how many hours you stream?
I'm very good at time management. Let's just say that.
I think it'd have to be.
Using every hour.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was trying to book this stream was like kind of hard because you're like, I don't know, man. I gotta do my streams. But like when you said like, you know what, let's do it right now. I'm like, this is probably the only time this will ever happen. So we just gotta do it right now. Cause normally I
Yeah,
don't stream at this time. Normally if I stream these days, I go live at like 4 or 5 p.m. Because like people are home from school or work or whatever. But I don't know. We got like what, like 20, 25 people, maybe 30 if you're counting Rumble viewers.
Oh, you're a multi-streamer.
Yeah, that's how we got the $100 Rumble super chat.
That's cool. If it works, it works.
Yeah, you're just a Twitch guy. You don't stream to YouTube or Kick or what do you
No,
think about websites like Kick and all that? You just like
I'll
indifferent
answer
to
that in a
them?
sec. The reason why I only stream to Twitch as well is like not just because my contract like prohibits me from doing like outside of Twitch. Like I know that like a lot of streamers have the ability to do multi-streams now, but my specific contract, like when I signed on to Twitch, it was way back before any of that stuff. Like my contract is like very OG. So it's not like that, but also I wouldn't do it anyway because my chat style is like very interactive. Like I kind of just talk to everybody who comes in
Yeah,
my
it's kind of
stream.
hard when you have multiple chats because somebody was like, why don't you stream on Kick too? I'm like, I don't want to have like 3 chats open on my desktop.
Yeah, for real.
Like
No, especially when you're
I had to
smaller.
say earlier, if you send me a super chat through Coffee, like you have to let me know because I have to like switch tabs.
It's like it's necessary to do it if you're so big that you don't read your chat anyway, though. Like you're just leaving
Yeah,
stuff on the table if you're that big. But when you're small, it can go either way, probably.
I think it's good to just focus on one platform.
This guy's got a question about the modding community. This game does have a really nice modding community. It used to be called the Battle for Bikini Bottom modding scene. And by the way, the guy Igor Sebra who created the tool for modding the levels, I mentioned this earlier, but I didn't go into detail. The studio that made the game that Miguel is playing on stream right now, this guy Igor made the fan-made level editor from scratch that this studio that made this game used to port the levels into Unreal Engine. So it's a very legit modding scene. It's just there aren't a lot of people who are making things. It's like a pretty intimidating process to get into, I think. I know that like Mario 64 has like a level editor that's like very like fan friendly now. Like anybody can like get into it and try it. There's a guy I know, COYS, who's working on like a more like user friendly fan editor. The current one is called Industrial Park. That's a legendary one that was used to make the remake. But he's working on a new one called Slick, and I'm not sure how far along that project is, but he's got a lot of other cool stuff too. If you go to this website called noclip.website, you can view like it's a Chrome thing where you can like look at all these levels like rendered in 3D, like for a bunch of different games, not just this one. Like there's a lot of cool stuff going on with that.
That's interesting.
And there's like full game mods like BFBB mix. There's a guy who's doing a deluxe version of BFBB with like 200 spatulas or something, with like inspiration from other platformers like Crash Bandicoot, for example, with like the running down like the hall with like the fixed camera and shit like that. You know, it's like stuff like that's being made, but there's aren't a lot of people who are working on stuff. I have some ideas for things people should do if they're interested in though. 'Cause I think it'd be really cool if somebody like like took apart the audio files, like the voice lines from the point and click games, and reintegrated them into a mod. Because like you can't get the voice acting without like AI or anything like that, right? So you can just like reuse the voice acting from the point and click games and turn them into platformers. There was a guy who made a Five Nights at Freddy's mod. Like it's like BFBB, but it plays like Five Nights at Freddy's, where you survive in the room. It's kind of cool. People have done some cool stuff.
You know, it's a very active community where you come from.
Yeah, it used to be way bigger, but like something like this, like SpongeBob is always gonna be relevant, but it's not like super relevant in gaming. And you know, I feel like the speedrunning sphere is more like Nintendo and like those kinds of games have like much more staying power. I'm also not really too involved with like a lot of people in the speedrunning community. I'm kind of just like doing my own thing, like on my own island, which, you know, I kind of prefer that as opposed to like constantly like interjecting myself in other people's business. I'm not really that kind of a person. I just like to do my own thing, and I got like a nice community and
Yeah.
happy with what I got. I just want to like grow that, like steady, healthy growth.
Yeah.
But it used to be a lot bigger back in the day when the game was like first getting attention, and
Well, that's
I
because it was
guess
in the
it was
news
more
and
shocking
stuff.
that I was speedrunning SpongeBob, you know?
Yeah, but that was back when, you know, this game was more in the news. Now it's kind of just like, you know, if you play SpongeBob or like you're interested,
It's
like you're
established,
interested.
yeah. People know about it, but you know,
It's like
it's not like being
it's-
talked about.
yeah, because like, you know, like you had like, oh, it's the SpongeBob guy, like, that was your thing, and like the game was popular and it was becoming a cult game, and then like you had that big boost because, you know, the remake, and like you were involved in the creation of the remake.
Yeah, it all
Yeah.
kind of like funneled into each other, like one thing lead to the next thing. But
Yeah, but
Rehydrated was just like a
I
big
don't
shark
know,
jump
man.
moment where like, you couldn't really peek past that.
When you do another, I love how you're accidentally sequence breaking right now. I don't know what I'm doing, man. I'm just trying to.
That's platformers in a nutshell. You just do what you feel is right, and it works usually.
Yeah. I mean, it's the goal to be like Dark Side Phil. Is that your end goal, SHiFT, to become Dark Side Phil?
Dude, I wouldn't even understand what like that guy's referencing. I've never watched that dude.
Yo, number 50 on Rumble from Soaring Eagle. Big 07s. YouTube takes 30%. Rumble is the only way I'll support the great MichaelAlberto. Thank you so much. Man, this guy's been like sending me super. I think the first one he sent me was, I think there was an event I wanted to go to in Vegas, and he sent me like $200 for like the plane ticket. So, you know, I appreciate it. Big 07s. But can we get 07s in chat for Soaring Eagle? Toasty's asking you. I love the Dark Side Phil question. I don't know. I
definitely got
don't
the freedom
get
to do what I want to do if I'm still able to speedrun SpongeBob at this point. Yeah, like it's
Yeah, spend the
like, you know what I mean?
spend 100K on WWE. Did he? I thought it was only 30 grand he spent on WWE. They hacked
That's
like
crazy.
his like bank account, and like they made up like a whole spreadsheet like tracking where he was spending his money, and he ended up spending like 30K on like WWE like gotcha games.
Invest. People just spend so much money, man. Like it's like that's the big thing is like as soon as I had that subathon, I mean like I was financially illiterate before that subathon, but like something in me just told me like you got to know what to do with this money. You can't just like put it down on a mortgage and like let the bank take it. Like think about what you're doing before you make a decision. So I actually met a financial advisor
Mhm.
who helped me a lot, and we've made that money grow quite a bit, and I've got like a very stable like investment income alongside the streaming, which he was mentioning like the freedom aspect, like that gives me a lot more freedom. Like I can do a lot more speed running, and I can, you know, take more risks with like what I want to stream as opposed to just like, oh, I got to do like this event and like plan this thing and stream this way, you know, like I can be more of myself. I can do more of what I want to do. You know, it's a nice freedom, like having gone through an 80-day subathon, you know, and then the next
Yeah.
year after that we had another good one too.
How many days did that one go on for again?
Oh, the first one?
The second one. Yeah, the second big one. I know you did
31, like exactly a month.
exactly a month.
Yeah.
You're gonna do another one this year?
I think so. I have a good idea for it. I'm
What's
just
your
not really
idea
sure
if
when
you
though, because
wanna
I'm getting
blow
like
it?
I don't know if you've been like watching too much. I know you've been like in and out, but I'm getting like some nasty paces. Like
Yeah, I
last
saw you
night,
tweeted about it.
yeah, I was getting some fire. Like I want to try to like see that through because I've been working on this run like nonstop since August, like last year when the subathon ended. I just been grinding like crazy trying to get this run, So I really want to try to like at least get something and get to a point where like I can like I feel like the grind won't after a certain point the grinding is not gonna like pay off as much as like the mental recalibration and like thinking and analyzing what I can do better. And I can probably do that during the subathon.
Hmm.
So I like to like really like optimize and like multitask and like I know you like probably see me on stream like turning over to my PC a lot,
Yeah.
like people and shit. Like I've always got like something going on. So I feel like right now like the best thing I can do is really focus on the improvement in the game. And when I get to the point where I feel like that's like diminishing returns, I'll probably take like a little time off of it just to do like a subathon or something like that. And I can still like think about it, but not have to like physically like use my hands to play it at the moment. Because when you get to a certain point with speedrunning, a lot of it is mental game. It really
Right.
depends on where you are. There are like phases of, where you like practicing more is better than the mental part, and it goes back and forth. But I would like to do another one if people are ready for it.
I think people
It's
are
all about
ready
the
for
fans,
it.
like, what the fans want when it's time to do it.
Yeah, you don't want to force it. It's got to be like natural.
Yeah, it has to be because people are paying for it.
Yeah, like I feel like
Should
this
have a
stream's
guilty
kind of.
pleasure.
Oh, like gotcha games. Yeah, do you play gotcha games?
Nah, dude. I think the last thing I had on my phone that was like a video game was like I had like an emulator for like
Uh,
Game Boy games back in high school. I was playing like Pokemon
yeah, I don't
when I
have
was
too
like
many
17.
games on my phone. I have like some Flappy Bird like basketball game. I forget what it's called. Why is everybody in the chat talking about freaking DSP?
I don't know,
I
dude. I mean,
I
like you
don't
made
I don't
videos on
under
like lolcows, so like these
yeah, but it's
guys
like
are
I don't
probably just like
understand
trying to
like the
like draw connections and
DSP. I don't
stuff.
understand the DSP lore that much. It's like I just know there's this one video by or stream clip by Medicare where he's just kind of like he's like restreaming DSP stream and he's like commentating over it and it's really funny because like DSP like sucked at like GTA and Medicare just had like a one liner for like every mistake that he made. It was pretty funny. But I don't know, like people there's like I used to follow like some of his A logs on Twitter, and it's like I don't get it. Like they'll like track like how much money he makes every like day. They make image macros. It's like I don't get it. I don't get like why people hate him so much. I know there was
Yeah, and I've
the
heard it's like the kind of guy where like I've heard like bad things about him, but like I mean I don't really care. Just like I only follow people who are just like actively like trying to like work on like a passion project or something that they're just like really interested, like super into. That's like the only thing I can relate to on the internet. The rest of it just kind of feels like noise.
yeah no. I mean like where I come from, there's like all this like drama stuff, and so I mean sometimes it's funny or interesting, but like it's like I don't care what Tipster is up to. It's like I really don't care. But every time like somebody around Tipster like sneezes the wrong way, there's like 20 videos and like a live stream where I'm being mentioned. It's just like, it's like who cares, man? You know?
Yeah, I think there's people just like drama. I think part of it could also just kind of be like they were on the opposite end of it when they were in high school and they gotta just like make up for it when they're adults.
Yeah, I can
Could
see
be
that a
part of
little
it.
bit, just a little bit, not always. So sometimes it's just funny.
Yeah, I've just kind of like over the years I've tried to understand the mentality behind it, but I've kind of just learned that it's just insane. And I just try to not think about it because you can't like get in people's heads. I think people just like act and react. Like people don't think about what they do. Like they don't even know why they're doing it. So like how could you ever know? People are
Tipster's
just
funny to
like
laugh at. I mean,
bored.
like there's like I remember I was making funny jokes about him where I was like making these like green texts where I'm like. I forget the tweet. I remember it got like a lot of likes. It got like 300 likes. People thought it was funny. It was like I was like hyping him up. I was like his biggest hype man on Twitter for like 2 weeks. Every day I would like make a tweet being like Tipster gets the most pussy out of everybody. It was just like stupid shit like that. But one of them was like, has a collection of rare retro video games, Christian Family Man, Harem of Goth Mom. It was like, it made no sense. I don't know. Sometimes it's funny, but then you got like people that like moral grandstand about it, but I don't care. Talk about Tipster. Maybe for $100. Maybe I talk more, but for right now, I'm good. I'll pass on the Tipster shenanigans of the week. You know.
Has this experience working on this stuff like interested you more in like speedrunning and like competitive gaming and stuff like that?
I've been wanting to get more into competitive gaming. Normally, when I talk about gaming creators, because that's been my focus for about a year now, it was just like talking about people like AVGN and like his influence and like, you know, the Normal Boots video that took off.
Like commentary people, not like gamers, you know?
Yeah, but like, I don't know. My buddy Technicals is getting more into covering like more like out of like non-Smash Bros type content. And I kind of want to cover more. Like, you're like the first speedrunner. I'd like to get into speedrunning documentaries. Because, like, there's some interesting people. Like, I don't want to do stuff where I'm just categorizing, like, oh, on this day. Like, I like the Summoning Salt videos, but, like, he kind of owns that format. I kind of like the idea of just making a documentary.
I've never watched a
speedrunner.
Salt video, admittedly. I try to avoid speedrun content just so I can, you know,
Focus on yourself.
because I know that I have my own thing that I want to say, and I don't want to, like, take influences from anybody else. I don't need to, because I'm, like, very experienced with it myself, and I got, like, my own ideas. But, I would say that like the general vibe that I get from like Salt's audience and like the thumbnails and titles that I see is that there's a big missed opportunity for other speedrun creators that Salt kind of just like portrays everything as being like a big battle, like an Olympian battle between runners and stuff like that.
It just makes it more interesting. That's all.
In reality, it's not really like an anime or any like big deal like that. Like people are just like playing the games for themselves, for their own improvement. Like it's like a battle of the self. And like improving your own stoicism and willpower to like continue on with an impossible task. And I wish that more people would lean into that. And also just like the aspect of like the friends you make getting into it. It sounds kind of lame, but it is true. Like people, like communities build and people's lifestyles build around these games. Like it's like in the Smash community, like you're probably a little familiar with like how many people have like become like lifelong friends, you know, over through that shit. Like the same thing happens with speedrunning. It's just like not as it's not as social because like a lot of this stuff doesn't occur in person. Like GDQ is like not really the central hub for speedrunning anymore. It's all kind of like divided out and fragmented, which, you know, I think that there's something to be said about that, where like GDQ does kind of pander to its own audience, and it is a charity, or like if pandering is going to get them the donations required to help with the causes they're trying to fund, like so be it. But it just doesn't appeal to everybody anymore. And I think that back in the day, like GDQ, just like how the speedrunning community kind of came together and people were like making friendships and like lifelong stories, like interacting through speedrunning. But it's kind of, I feel like that's kind of been lost through the pandemic, along with like the Salt videos. Like it makes it seem like it's just like this internet thing where just like basement dweller versus basement dweller, and nobody interacts, nobody's like talking or like you know what I mean? Like I feel like the human aspect of speedrunning has kind of been lost in translation.
I don't know. I think he's just trying to make it more exciting, and that makes it sound more exciting if it's like a battle, you know.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying that like I think that other speedrunning creators just watch those videos and try to emulate them.
So you want to
whereas they're leaving something on the table by not going into the opposite angle that Salt doesn't cover.
All right. Yeah, that's fair. Makes sense. Yeah, but
what kind of person watches speedrun attempts? I think you gotta see it from the perspective of somebody who's just like working on a project and has some shit on the background. Like speedrunning is kind of like a podcast. Like you just leave it on, it's on the other monitor. Some dude's trying to accomplish something in the background, and maybe it's on mute, maybe it's just like low volume. You're listening to the conversations vaguely. Sometimes you talk in the chat when you need a break from your work. But people just leave it on to see if something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's like fishing. It's like, why do people go fishing? It's so boring. It's like, well,
just relax.
You're just hanging out, you're having a good time, just relaxing, and then all of a sudden, like, you got one on the line, and then you zone in. It's like, holy shit, like this guy's about to fucking do it. and then you dial in for those like 10 minutes, and then the run dies some bullshit, and you're like, all right, back to work, and you leave it on the monitor. That's pretty much how I describe it.
Yeah. Fuck, I'm getting a little tired. We'll stay on for another like 20, or how much time you got left? I don't want to give you.
That's
give
cool.
It
20 is cool.
Yeah, alright, I'll stay on for another. I mean, I've been up for like 24 hours. You know, I woke up and I'm like, it's time to get this video out of my life. You know, it's just got to be done. It's just got to be done.
That's another thing too. Is Scoville says here is a lot of people just like check in to see if there's a pace, and then they just check out. Like it's a lot of like checking in to see if the guy is on the run. Like a lot of people in my stream, like my analytics say like across like the 10 hours I stream-ish every day, you got like somewhere around like 2,000 people, give or take a few hundred, who are just unique people checking in to see like what's going on with the stream.
Yeah.
So like the concurrent view count may be around like 200-ish, but it's a lot of people who are just like
coming in and out. Because like I'll tune into your stream for maybe like 10 minutes or whatever. Yeah, I just want to see what's going on. Yeah. You know, it's just kind of like, all right, let's see what SHiFT's up to, and if like you're deep into a run, I'll keep watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's just as the game gets like harder and more optimized, like maybe like 7 years ago when the game was an hour long, there was more room for mistakes. The tricks weren't nearly as difficult. The runs get deeper. People are more engaged. Like runs are making it to like 15 plus minutes on average, as opposed to like 3 minutes. So it's definitely become harder to watch over the years, but that's the thing is like there's not much you can do about that. Like the way I see it is like if speedrunning is going to survive, every game is going to get to that point where it's so difficult that you're going to have to like deal with the fact that it's harder to watch and like make it interesting, find a way to make it a sustainable thing to stream, cuz I don't like the solution that like, well, if it's too hard to improve the game, you got to just stop and make other content. Because that's just how the whole hobby dies. Because all the best games are going to reach that point someday.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of speedrunners have kind of come to that conclusion. It's like, it's too much effort to get this good at the game. So we have to make content about the game instead. And then, like, I guess other people who, you know, don't have a platform can, like, speedrun the game and, like, I'll make content on those people. It's like, I don't agree with that sentiment at all. Like, that's kind of what I see happening, though, is like...
The guy in second place is a guy named, what's his name, like Rubber Toes or something? Are you worried about him taking your spot at number 1, or...?
Yeah, I don't like to comment on other people's progress and other people's...
That's fine. I'm like I said...
No, it's just, like, I've had a lot of, the thing about...
You've had enough beefs.
Like,
you've had enough beefs.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about, like, beefs. It's just, like... I think that speedrunning, like, you have, like, two ends of a spectrum where, like competitive versus collaborative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like on one end of the spectrum, if you like go full competitive and everybody's like talking shit and like criticizing each other, and you know, like maybe they're like even like hiding strategies to like make sure that like the other person can't beat them or can't improve as fast. Like if you go to that end versus the opposite end where it's like full collaborative, is like everybody's trying to encourage each other to improve, sharing strategies to build on each other. You know, I feel like that like going more on the collaborative side is much more healthy for the improvement of the game's speed, especially like because I do acknowledge that there are some people who get like a competitive edge and motivation from like feeling like there's somebody that they have to beat, but at the same time, like there are plenty of people like myself who like self-motivate and try to just improve for the sake of making the game faster. So considering like my motivation is all internal, like I'm very like inner directed. I just like to make the game faster and like fuck if you like it, you know what I mean? If everybody surrounding me is like collaborating and we're not like at odds and not like arguing and like comparing each other and stuff, if we're mostly focused on pushing the game faster, it's gonna drop way faster. Like the times are gonna get way better, way faster over the years. And I think that with that model of community has shown itself not just to be successful for making this game like basically a minute faster every year. Like it's gone down like crazy over the past decade, but also like it was very popular at one point because you know that it's filtering out people who are getting into the game for the sake of like, oh, I want to like prove that I'm better than people. They're getting into it because they want to enjoy it. Like they enjoy the game enough to play it, and they're like, you know what, I don't really care if I'm going to be a competitor for this time or like this placement. I just want to get really good because I want to get really good. And I think that like just outwardly like portraying that is gonna attract more people who are into the collaboration than like trying to make something competitive that most people don't feel is competitive. Like with
Yeah.
the whole summoning salt docs, like I know that like Abney, the Mario Kart dude, like he's not thinking about like, oh, this guy's gonna beat me, like I have to prove that I'm better than this person. But the documentaries and stuff like make it seem like that's what's going on. But in reality, these guys just love the game and they want to get better at it. Like it's just a hobby.
Yeah.
It's like sharpening a sword. It's like playing an instrument.
Mhm.
It's just like I just do it because, you know, it's something that I put a lot of time into and I really care about it. And
Yeah.
I'm very interested in the tiny little quirks and learning more about the game. That's what I mean is like there's stuff being left on the table that people aren't talking about with speedrunning that if more people talked about it, I
Mhm.
think that like the long-term growth of the community would be a lot healthier if more people were making content like that to attract the kinds of people who are like inwardly directed like that and interested in pushing themselves and like seeing all there is to offer in a game versus like doing it for the sake of like throwing around ego or trying to prove something to anybody but yourself, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get what you mean. How much longer are you gonna do this for? I saw somebody asking that in the chat.
I mean, it's like playing the piano, dude. Like people do it their entire lives. I have no idea how long my reaction time is going to be able to deal with these fucking one frames, but I'm doing as much as I can to preserve my body in my
For
late
speed
20s. Like,
running. I mean, you were talking like I put a whole section of you just talking about like your health and how you changed your diet to fix your carpal tunnel.
yeah, it's still a work in progress, but the carpal tunnel's definitely under control. Yeah, that's a big thing. I
Yeah.
try to help a lot of people surrounding me too with that stuff. Is just
Hmm.
like I swear by it, like just like a few lifestyle changes, and you can really get so much more mileage out of yourself. And people just like get to the point where they cope and they make excuses like I just can't play this game because I'm like hurting too much. Or I can't. But like you can though. Like it's crazy like how quick of the turnaround there is just by like going on walks, timing your meals properly, and like cutting out some of the crap that people eat, not even
Yeah.
realizing it's bad for them. Like that's the real poison is like thinking that like what you're doing is good for you when in reality it's just poisoning you every day and you just don't
Hmm.
even think about it. Like this it's a knowledge barrier for a lot of people. Like once you know, like even if you get to the point where like I am, like I'm like crazy about like reading like labels and shit. Like once you know, the knowledge just guides you.
Yeah.
It's hard to walk. It's hard to go in the opposite direction when you know, you know?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, man. Fucking, I am exhausted. We'll stay on for another like 5 minutes. So last call for super chats. If you want to support, my documentary and this stream, or you want to shift a question. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to ask you specifically. Are you gonna be doing a live reaction to the documentary on your stream?
I could. The thing about like live reactions is I really don't like to react to people's content, but it depends on the context. I mean, I could try to find like a time to do it. The thing is though, like I know you mentioned like this like these videos like talk about like the A logs and shit,
Mm-hmm.
even like briefly. I feel like what these people want is just to like have me like they just want the satisfaction of like me
I
like
mean,
watching like anything involving them on my stream. Like
I mean,
they're just like in love with me,
I didn't
dude.
even name anybody specifically. I was just like, oh yeah, there's like these community of people in the Discord server, and they have like these channels where they post funny clips of you, but like they're trying to like make fun of you, basically. That's really all
That's
it
fair
is.
enough.
If you look at the timestamp, the chapters, I think the controversy section's like 3 minutes long. It's just
Yeah, no, for real.
I think
I
you'll
get
like the
you.
documentary. I think you're gonna enjoy it when you watch it.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I tried to make it
Trust me,
in a
I'm not
way.
like apprehensive about the
Yeah,
content.
no.
It's
I
just like very hard for me to tear myself away from what I'm doing. But
yeah.
you know, I could probably like figure it out like sometime soon to like watch it. I could probably like put my if it's okay with you, I could put like my reaction on my VOD channel and like people could like
Yeah, it's like I
see
said,
like my
just
response
wait a
to it.
little bit so I can get my views on the video because those first few days are very important. But if you want to do that
Yeah,
like a week or
I could just like
two,
watch it like next week or something.
yeah, no, that'd be fine. That'd
I'm
be
actually
cool.
very curious to see if I'm gonna have people in my chat mention that like, oh, they saw somebody made a video on me. So I kind of like
Labs.
I want to wait a little bit to see if that natural growth happens on its own, and then react to it later to like give it like a second bump. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Got a $5 on Streamlabs. First time dropping in. I actually still need to watch the documentary. I'm enjoying the stream with you and Shittle. Thank you. Yeah, please check out the documentary, guys. Make sure to drop a like on it. I spent a lot of time. I think it's my best video yet. I have a bad habit of always tackling these big ass projects that take forever. I think I'm going to try like some smaller stuff. I feel like I say this all the time. Like, I'm gonna start streaming again. Doesn't stream for a month. But I don't know. I want to do this video about Minecraft. I already have it mostly written. It's kind of about like the aesthetics of Minecraft, like the older Minecraft. That's what it's kind of about. And there's this mod pack called Minecraft PS1 Edition, which kind of emulates what Minecraft would be like if it ran on the PS1. It's kind of got like this creepypasta like lore thing behind it, and there's like horror elements to it, like there's Herobrine and stuff. I think it's kind of interesting. I saw some videos that did good. Just doing like let's plays or kind of doing brief overviews. So I think it'd be cool to have like a proper like video essay about it. So I think that's what I might do. And if I
Do you ever
do
consider
that,
editing on stream? That's like something that I used to do. Is kind of just like talk to
I've
people
done
while
that
you work on stuff.
before. I just don't. I don't know. It's like I kind of like the videos to be a surprise too. So
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like when I was working on the history videos for the speed runs, I would edit some parts on stream, but like the other stuff I keep it secret. Like I kind of like go back and forth just to like keep myself present on, because that was during a time when I was going through the injuries and stuff. Like when I was working on the documentaries, I was actually doing a lot of my editing with one hand because the other hand was fucked up from like tendonitis and stuff. Whole big thing, but I was trying to like still be present on stream because kind of like your situation where you can't stream as much, like just like maybe like showing a little bit of what you're doing, like maybe for like an hour here and there, you know. If it's like nothing that's like super revealing of what you're working on, but just to give people a taste and like talk to your viewers and stuff, I feel like that could be beneficial.
yeah. Thank you, James, by the way, for the super chat. Thank you for the compliment on the Windows 95. It's really interesting. A lot of people really like it, but then there's some people who really fucking hate it. Like they think it's too busy. I don't know. I've had this for like 2 years now. I don't plan on changing the little Windows 95 aesthetic going on. Maybe I'll change the American flag to something else at some point. I think I had it set up. Yeah, I have it set up so I can change it to be winter. But yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll go for 5 more minutes. If somebody wants to send in one more super chat, we'll do that. But you're gonna be streaming what time today?
I'll probably be getting on around like 5, maybe a little early. We'll see. I gotta
All right. Yo,
take a
for the
little
2. She movie on my movie too. I movie. Thank you, words of SHiFT for 2. I appreciate it. I like how on super chats now you can like audience people can give it a like and I can give it a heart. I think that's a pretty cool feature. I like that YouTube did that.
movie.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like other video ideas I could do. The issue with doing a video like on you, it's like I had to like try to learn so much. Like obviously I couldn't learn everything.
Yeah, you kind of got baited,
But-
bro. Like you saw like these A-log videos, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this guy's probably just like," and then you like looked into it and saw there's like a whole
Yeah,
ton
like,
of like.
this was supposed to be a short video shift. It was supposed to take me like a week, 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, we'll just play a few clips of the funny SpongeBob guy. But then it's like there's like this whole lore of like GDQ and Ludwig and your health and all of this stuff, and it's actually really interesting. It's actually more interesting than a few people who kind of just like clip your streams.
Yeah, they're just assholes. They're
And
just banned and they got mad.
Your A-logs are different from like the A-logs of somebody like I know you probably don't know who this is, like Ethan Ralph. Like Ethan Ralph has like these really dedicated A-logs, but they'll have like their own like stories and backgrounds. Yours I feel like don't have that. And like they're not as involved in the like Ralph will like take like hate content of him and like turn it to content on his show like every day. Like that's what he does. So like
He
but
like
you-
feeds into it
Yeah.
to like keep himself relevant. Okay.
kind of like that. You just feeds into for a little content because he streams for he's like you streams for like 8 hours. But you're different. You kind of just like ignore them for the most part. But then there's that moment once a month where you talk about them for like 30 to an hour, and then that
Yeah, I mean,
becomes-
like I stream 70 hours a week, so like it comes up, and like
Yeah.
my viewers mention it, and like I don't want to like be rude to my viewers and ignore them. It's kind of a thing where like when I'm speedrunning, the chat's usually pretty quiet, so like when you mention something in chat, it has a lot more power. Like
Mhm.
kind of just sits there. If I'm bored, I'm just sitting there streaming. Like I gotta just like talk. I gotta say something because I'm just so fucking bored trying to get this run. But when we're doing subathon and the chat's going crazy, like it doesn't even really come up because people just have much more interesting things to talk about.
Yeah,
I
I
really
notice your
talk of, like,
chat's more lively when like you're not just speedrunning, you know, when you're like
yeah.
yeah, and that
I
makes
can't
sense.
justify doing these speed runs offline. Like I gotta stream it all, and I think that's a big part of the hobby. Like I really want
Yeah.
people to see the process because speed running and streaming are intertwined. Like Siglemic, yo, like that shit. Like that's literally the reason why Twitch exists is because of people like him, the OGs. Like speedrunners are like the construction workers of Twitch. Let's just put it that way. Like people kind of like ignore them and sweep them under the rug unless it's advantageous to like.
That's a really
like, develop
interesting
them for clout.
comparison. Speedrunners are the construction workers of Twitch.
But straight up, we built the platform, you know. Like you gotta look if you're gonna look into speedrunning, you gotta look into like Siglemic.
Damn, like you know, your hands are in agony from all that all that
Yeah,
12-hour
too,
grinds
exactly.
every day. Do you ever play in the speedrun a different game like Mario 64 or something? Like try to capitalize on
Nah,
something
I
more
mean,
popular, or like
honestly,
are you
like,
just like
people-
locked into like?
People
as
just
you-
think that I'm a contrarian for saying this, but I really don't find 64 that interesting. I think that 64 is a very good game to speedrun because it's very accessible. Like it has a very short run, 16 star. If you don't understand like different categories in speedrunning, so like obviously you know any percent and 100% from looking into my stuff, but some games are like they're so broken that you can beat the game like in a way that is so quick that people just say like fuck this, it's so boring, like I don't want to do it anymore. Like you can beat Mario 64 without getting a single star.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a category like that, but there are people who want to run other categories that aren't just like, I'll go straight to the end in 5 minutes. So they have like other categories like that ban certain tricks that were found that made it possible to do that. So they have like the usual like 70 star where like you beat the game without glitching through anything. And then like 16 stars, like some glitches are allowed, but not all. And then 1 star and 0 stars, like the difference between like one trick working a certain way or not. So
Yeah.
Mario 64 is like a wide range of categories that are like pretty accessible to get into.
Yo, I just noticed another
And-
50 from Soaring Eagle. Thank you, shit, for streaming Michael this afternoon. Rock on. Thank you to Soar. This guy's like my
You got a nice
like,
community,
yeah,
man. It's
like
pretty dope.
my Gabe Hoffman. Thank you, Soaring Eagle. I appreciate it.
So what I was saying is that 64 has like a wide range of categories, and a lot of them are very easy to get into. So it makes
Yeah.
it's like the perfect making of a popular game, right? You have the easy categories to get into, low skill floor, high skill ceiling. You had the fact that the game was released on every fucking console for every generation, like the Switch, the Wii. I think it was even like maybe even like on the Wii U, maybe as like a VC. Like N64, it's like emulating that game is like really easy. The main version of the game, the N64 version, is the one that's emulated and played on everything. Like it's very accessible, very popular, and the rich get richer, man. Like if you're gonna speedrun a game for content, when content creators drive the influence of who speedruns what, you're gonna pick the popular games like Minecraft and Mario 64. Like it is what it is. Like, these games
I
are
also
getting
just
more
like those
popular.
games. There's also fun to play.
Yeah, it's a
in my
solid
opinion.
game, absolutely. But to me, it just doesn't have that spice, you know? Like, it's got the BLJ and, like, the movement, and the level design's fucking awesome, but, like, it doesn't have, like, the crazy shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta have, like, that swag, like, the real, like, swag. Like, SpongeBob's got that swag, and, like, the
that
thing is,
swag.
like, there are other games that kind of had that swag, but, like, it's, like, few and far apart. It doesn't feel like a greatest hits compilation of, like, every 30 seconds there's some fucking crazy shit happening.
Yeah.
And like it's like maybe drawn out, too many cutscenes. Like SpongeBob is just the perfect speed run. Like that's why I'm just not interested in anything else at the moment. Like until someday when like I've seen everything I got to see with it. Which like the game is fucking mad, dude. Like I've been playing this game for like as long as or as many hours invested as like competitive like CS:GO players and shit. And I've still got so much to improve on. Like I got years ahead of me to
you
make
know,
this game faster.
SpongeBob isn't like your 9 to 5. It's your like 9 to 8 or like 9 to 9. Like you know, you're grinding this shit all fucking day for like what like 8-10 years now. You've been at this for a decade.
It's calculated to like over the years, like obviously like in 2016, I wasn't even the guy who was playing the most in 2016. Like I was playing a fair amount, but there were still people who were grinding it more than I was. And back then I was trying to do like a modest like 3 to 4 streams a week with like 3 to 4 hours a day. But
Yeah.
as time went on, the game got harder and more optimized, and it's like I got to spend more time to like keep the consistency of these tricks and like get better at these one frames and like stop them from like rusting. So like by 2017 I was experimenting with like 6 to 7 hour streams, and You know, at this point, like I find that if I play under 10 hours a day, I just don't improve as much as I'd like to. And for me, it's all about the time, man. Like I got to make the most with my time playing the game. If I'm just half-assing it and doing like 5-hour streams a day over the course of a year, like I'm not gonna see as much improvement as I would get for like 10 hours a day for like 3, 4, 5 months, you know? Like condense that time, like work your ass off, condense that time, get it done, and then get the next thing done.
Mm.
You gotta just like optimize your time when you're dealing with some shit like
What's
this where
the
it's like
I think we're about
such an undertaking.
about to close this out, I think. But thank you so much for coming on. I guess my final thing we can end this on. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Okay, read the one from Words of SHiFT. We read the one from James. We read the ones from Soaring Eagle, which I appreciate everybody, but especially Soaring Eagle, Big 07. What do you think's the lowest the speedrun will go? Because I can totally see you getting it under sub 40 within the next
Great
year
question.
or two.
Yeah, so right now like sub 40 is theoretical, but I've talked about this on like my Twitter a little bit. And on my stream, and like I have like my like calculations and stuff, the numbers. It's not realistic at all to happen with the current strats that we have. So what I think is that sub 41 is very doable. On a really, really good run, I can definitely get sub 41 right now. We'll see how this develops over the next few months, year or so.
I could totally see you getting it under 40. I don't see you getting it under like 35 or 30. Not to be rude, I just don't know if that's possible.
Like, a minute is a massive barrier. Like 10 seconds is a huge amount of time to save in a speed run at this point because like every second is just so valuable.
I mean, like when I made the video, I did this whole section about how I witnessed you practice this one trick in the beach level, where it's
like for how little that works, it saves 8 to 10 seconds. But like you can imagine like the difference between doing that and not doing that and saving those 8 to 10 seconds is insane. Like the hundreds of hours it takes to get that down and even get it in a run and then just like clutch out the rest of the 30 minutes of the run after that. It's nuts. And like that's a 10-second barrier. And we still got to go like 100 more seconds to even get close to a sub 40. So right now, my personal best is very outdated for my current skill level. So I can definitely lower it by a lot. I know I'm capable of getting sub 41 right now. It's just the game's like super difficult and I'm trying to figure out how to manage the consistency. I'm working on more lifestyle changes to try and like hopefully build up the reaction time and the focus and all that stuff, like you know, like physical and like mental stuff. But just like trying different things to see if I can like push the needle a little bit more to like get more runs like that, like the one that I got yesterday. But there's no run that I could get right now that would realistically get sub 40. What we need to do to get sub 40 is really pick apart the game and move things around and find faster ways of getting certain spatulas, swapping in some spatulas in and out, moving them around, like
it's a lot of research, a
puzzle.
lot of mental like thinking of like how you're gonna do
Oh
this.
yeah, and that's where the R&D comes in, like the strat development that I was talking about with the community members. We all collaborate on that stuff. I think that we need to find like 40 seconds, like 40 seconds to 50 seconds of strategies to make that feasible. And it really depends on how difficult and consistent they are as well. Last year was the biggest year we've had since before the pandemic in finding stuff, though. We found 90 seconds of strategies last year, which is absolutely nuts. 5 years ago, we found a few minutes, but that was, you know, about the money generation exploit, the skee ball abuse, the loud noise. That was the year that we implemented that into the run. So last year was the biggest year since that. So you can imagine like how big last year was, and I don't expect that to happen again this year. So we gotta like really be like smart about how we're strat hunting and looking for new things.
I can see sub 40 happening. I can see it happening.
I think it'll happen too. It's just gonna take a very long time, like many years of really grinding it down. But I'm here for it. It's worth it. I mean, gotta see it through to the very end, man. It's worth it. The game deserves it.
Yeah.
A lot of things like that deserve it. And I would encourage, if you also play games and speedrun stuff, like if you really believe in your game, you should definitely try to take it as far as you can, because you know, with the right marketing and the right attitude, like people will notice it. A lot of games deserve that don't get it. This game was one of them many years ago.
Yeah. Well, anyway, SHiFT, I think that about does it. I'm sorry for a shorter stream. This was like a very last minute thing, and I've been up for 24 hours now. I want to go sleep. Thank you for, coming on and, letting me interview you for the video. Hopefully it does well on YouTube if you guys want to check it out, because, I mean, you haven't even watched it yet. If anyone here hasn't watched it yet, go check it out. Let me do one last refresh, Streamlabs and coffee, make sure I'm not missing anybody. See, we were talking about multi-streaming earlier. This is the issue with having, too many, websites, because I got to, go through multiple tabs. But I think we are good. Any want to say one last thing before we go?
Yeah, I guess I'll take a look at the video next week because I want to, give y'all some time to like see how it goes on its own, and maybe I'll get a second bump next week when I take a look at it. Maybe I'll watch it on stream.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's cool that you wanted to cover this, man, and
Yeah, no,
you seem like a very neutral guy who just wanted to report on what you found.
yeah. I
and
just like
curious to see what you get.
making documentaries, and I thought your story was interesting, and I tried to be. I haven't really been like normally like I try to be a little artistic with the videos, but this is like the most kind of artsy I think I've gotten or with a video in a while. And even if it doesn't do that well, I'm proud of how it came out. I think people will like it. It would be like
Yeah, man.
it's like a, I'm trying to think of an example.
Seems like a very different kind of video than what you usually upload
Yeah,
to. So
but-
like even if it doesn't do that well, like it could be the start of something new.
That's what I'm hoping of because I check like who watches my types of videos. It's like a lot of gaming people these days, so I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I can try some more heavy gaming stuff and see if that gets in. If not, I can just go back to kind of more locale type content. But yeah, thank you for coming on.
I mean, if you like lolcows, I mean, there's just like
It's an endless.
speedrunning community is like actually chock full of that.
Maybe I'll do one on Chibi in the future.
Chibi's so overdone, bro. If you want tips on some people who are just like totally nuts, I got the hookups, man. I've been around for too long.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I'll see you SHiFT. Take it easy.
Yeah, man.
God bless.
Nice talking to you. Reach out anytime.
All right. See ya.
Peace.
That was a nice stream. Nice call-in. Smaller stream, but I actually thought we're gonna have less people, but I think we had like what? We peaked at what, 30, 35? It's not bad. For like a last minute stream, I never do these anymore. Like back in the day, I used to do, I would just go live like once a day at a random time. Didn't really matter. I don't really do that too much these days. Let me know on X or whatever, like for other types of streams you'd be interested in, because I don't really know what to do. I guess I could cover sector stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I do. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming out. The VOD will be on Rumble, as always. And yeah, I'll see you guys. I know it's the starting stream, but the stream is over. I gotta make a stream ad thing screen.